More breaking news tonight on the campaign trail. Former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum is serving up some harsh criticism for fellow 2016 competitor Senator Ted Cruz, calling out the Texas Republican for not being socially conservative enough. Listen to this.
I think they're being sold that they do carry. Ted Cruz says, "Oh, I'm the social conservative," but they don't. People haven't had a chance. And again, this is what this time of this last month, these few weeks heading up to the caucuses, this is when people do their homework, and they're going to see. There's an article in the Iowa Republican today he called basically Ted Cruz the Trojan horse of social conservatism. It's basically that he's not the social conservative that he's portraying himself to be, and the answer is he's not.
Joining me now, Republican presidential candidate Senator Rick Santorum. Good to see you tonight, Senator.
Hey, Shannon, how are you?
I am good. All right, let's talk about this comment. There have been some reports about what Senator Cruz said at a particular event here in Manhattan. When you compare it, and he says it's about word for word what he said on television. If it was a secret, he shouldn't have been saying it on Stephen Colbert or Seth Meyers anywhere else. And when you look at the transcripts, they really pretty much are about the same statement, saying that he's going to be about defending the Constitution. That includes things like religious liberty and other issues. So what's your quibble?
Well, first he said it's not a priority for him. And obviously for a lot of people, it is a priority issue. The issue of life and marriage are very much important and priority issues for a lot of voters in America because they're foundational, number one. Number two, he has taken the position, I think this is accurate, he's taken the position that he doesn't believe that the federal government has a role to play in the issue of marriage, that this is an issue that he would leave up to the states. But the contrast with that is 4 years ago, that was Ron Paul's position, and that position to every social conservative group that I'm aware of was a non-starter. That was a position that was not considered to be, and I don't think is today, considered to be a viable position in fighting for the institution of marriage to leave 50 different definitions. So under Ted Cruz, I guess if a state wanted to do polygamy, that would be fine. If a state wanted to define marriage some other way, that would be okay. See, Abraham Lincoln said it best, the states don't have the right to do wrong. And there's a higher law that comes into play. And that higher law requires us to stand for the institution of marriage as it should be, as it is, and that the government really doesn't have a right to redefine it.
Okay, so you obviously are well-versed in the Supreme Court's ruling back in June, which essentially made gay marriage legal in all 50 states. There can be no barriers to that. So is that a better option than what Ted Cruz is suggesting, which is allowing states to work this out, as many of them had? The vast majority of states that had gay marriage before the Supreme Court ruling, you and I know it was because of federal court rulings. It wasn't because those states had passed it or accepted it. The vast majority of them were because of court rulings. So is his option not better for those who would want to stand for traditional marriage to allow some states to have it? Right now, 0 states are able to ban something that I know that you believe is offensive to social conservatives.
Well, the question is whether the Supreme Court decision is a valid decision. I mean, the President of the United States has a responsibility, just like the Supreme Court does, to uphold the Constitution. If the Supreme Court gets it wrong, and as we know, Shannon, throughout history, the Supreme Court has gotten it wrong. It's gotten it wrong in some pretty bad ways on multiple occasions, and it's an obligation. And when I take the oath of office, if I get elected president, I say I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That means I have an obligation to interpret that Constitution. And if the court gets it wrong and does something unconstitutional, acts outside the bounds of the Constitution, then I think it's incumbent upon the president to do something, not say, well, we can't, the states have to decide this. And that's really the difference between the two of us.
All right, well, I know that you have quite a deficit to make up in Iowa. We have seen you come from the back of the pack before. I was there when you did it 4 years ago. I'll see you out there on the campaign trail in the Hawkeye State, and we'll see what 2016 brings. Thank you, Senator.
Well, thank you very much, Shannon. I appreciate the opportunity.
We'll see you there.